Hello, my little goblins. We're back at it again, and this time we got a new pack. Woo! We love new packs. And we are playing branded Despia, but now we have the bestials or bestials, whatever you want to call them. And you might be saying, wow, you're playing 3 Lubellians in branded? I am, because there's no Quem to play, so I'm using Bestial Lubellian because honestly starting with it is really fucking strong, because then you can go into Serenair and then Serenair can send Retribution, and yeah, it's pretty good. So that's part of the reason why we want to have that package. But another crazy card they got was Blazing Cartesia, which is a pretty nutty card. It allows you to fusion summon without spells, and it's a quick effect, which is pretty sick. That being said, this is pretty much the list. If you're wondering why our extra deck looks like this, another new card, Garura, which makes Super Poly really insane. But I will say this, right? One thing I'm going to say, the extra deck's very tight. It's very hard to fit in cards and take cards out. So if I was going to move cards around, I would say possibly you can remove Guardian Chimera. Because Guardian Chimera, you could really only do plays with it with Branded Fusion. But you don't really set up the old combo like you used to. Especially with this particular deck, you want to be setting up the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare Lock, which you guys are going to see. I'm going to do a little combo guide so you guys understand how the deck works. And then we'll get into some matches. Lego. Alright, this is going to be a basic combo on how to do the Gimmick Puppet Lock. Our hand's honestly kind of fucking whack, to be completely honest. We're just going to use the Albion. We're going to pitch Retribution to the graveyard. Draw. And now we are going to start this rodeo off using Branded Fusion. We're going to go into Lubellian. And this is not like... We're doing this because our opening hand was kind of whack. But typically, you normally would send Gimmick Puppet and Fallen of Albaz to the graveyard for this combo to work. But in our case, we're actually going to be sending Tragedy and Fallen of Albaz because I have a new card in my hand, which I will get to show you. We're going to activate Tragedy's effect, and then we're going to activate this so we can chain block it. We're going to discard the Ash because we don't need it. Okay. So we are going to go into Mirror Jade. Now, if you open Aliber, it's a 1-card combo to do it, too, so you can always do that. And I could normal summon Aliber. It's not the worst thing in the world, but instead I'm going to play Blazing Cartesia, pretend we don't have the Aliber. I'm going to activate its effect. So now I can go into bring this card right here, one of the new cards, which is going to fuse this card, and it's also going to fuse the Gimmick Puppet in the hand. Just because we need to get Gimmick Puppet in the graveyard. So now, normally, remember you had to use Mirror Jade to send Albion? We could technically use this card to send Albion, right? Now, you could also, if you really wanted to, you can send, if you're able to get a dragon on the field, you could send Lubellian to the graveyard. There's a few cards you could send, and then you could just use Mirror Jade's effect to banish. But we're just going to send Albion. There's another card you could also go to. If you're able to go into Rhinebrunn first, you can use Rhinebrunn to negate Mirror Jade, so you don't actually have to banish anything on the field, but you still send the Albion. And then we can just set this Super Poly. We end the turn. A lot of triggers activate, so Blazing Cartesia comes back to hand. And then we have Albion activate, which is going to set the Branded Expulsion. Then you want to make sure you turn this notification on. And during my opponent's draw step, we activate Branded Expulsion. You can tribute the Mirror Jade or the Grand Julia. I would say tribute this because this card's effect, secondary effect, works in the graveyard. So ideally, you'd probably want to tribute that. So we're going to target Gimmick Puppet. We're going to target Tragedy. So Gimmick Puppet, we want to put that on their side. Now, I need you to also make sure, because you're not seeing that with this, but if my opponent, okay, so if I use the branded expulsion trap, right, and I tributed Mirror Jade, since that is an Albaz, a card that mentions Albaz, it would let me special summon both on my field. When that prompt comes up, you need to hit no, because if you hit yes, you're going to summon the Gimmick Puppet to your field, and then it locks you into Gimmick Puppets. So you don't want that. So that's what I recommend. He's trying to target this. Technically, I can just Super Poly his Gimmick Puppet away, which is kind of hilarious. I could go into... I guess this works. I can go into this. You'd probably not want to go into Cortis. You probably just go into Mud Dragon here. Mainly because, like I said, this card right here can special summon Cortis by itself out of the deck. I'm just doing this to show you guys the options you have. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can obviously banish his card, get a thing, and then set up an OTK him. Because you can't special summon. They can't special summon anything besides Gimmick Puppets. So it's going to lock out a lot of decks unless they're playing a back row deck. Alright? So that was the combo guide. Let's get into games. Hello, my little goblins. We're here for game number 1. I just wanted to show this game just because it was hilarious. So my opponent is playing pretty much an FTK deck using Trickstar. So the way the deck works is they go into the Trickstar card that dings you for 200. And then this card deals you another 300. And then they play Disturbance, which makes you shuffle your entire deck. So I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 triggers, 10 triggers from it. Which I'm pretty much would get OTK'd immediately. And if it didn't kill me, Energy Chain would. So, the funny thing is, like, since I have Super Poly in my hand and Garura just came out, I'm able to actually counter this and not just instantly lose. So, I'm able to Garura. He just shuffles back my hand, which doesn't really do that much. I mean, my hand's worse. But now I'm able to pretty much just kill our opponent. Summon our Bystial card. And we have 1,000 over lethal. Boom. Goodbye. I thought that was freaking hilarious, though. So I wanted to share that. So hope you guys don't hate it. Hello, we're here with game number 2 against Jester4267. This is like really strange, isn't it? Like, I know this is like kind of cool, but like now in the replays, it kind of just covers the whole screen. And it says like the win rate on certain cards. Like, boom. So no, 2.3. 54% win rate. Kelbeck activation. Interesting. So his board, normally I was going to say, okay, this is going to be super easy because Super Poly Garura is going to be broken, but he plays Notoria Bamboo Shoot, which locks me out of actually doing anything. So you would think. Can Despia play with spells? Yes, but now they can play with monster effects. So we have Blazing Cartesia in hand. We're able to use this effect to fusion summon to go into Grangula. We don't even we activate the effect. He activates Mole Cricket. If he had Sunflower on the field, we would not activate the effect. Because Sunflower would pop it. We need to kill Bamboo Shoot. But it's kind of disgusting, I'm going to be honest. I attack, I kill the Bamboo Shoot. Now I'm able to just Super Poly, go into Gamora, deal 3k with it. Because it hits double damage. And then we call by the Mole Cricket. I mean, if you don't concede, you got tougher skin than I, you know? And I'm Big Meat Mike. Honestly, that's a sick channel name. Imagine, I wish I could, my channel name instead of Fat Zoid, instead of that branding I did, I should have just called myself Big Meat Mike. Much better. Alright, Notoria Camula comes out. And he just gives up. He knows he's got no shot. The game's over. GG. Goodbye. Jester, you're a clown to me. Game number 3, and speaking of clowns, it wouldn't be right if I didn't show you some mistakes I made. Really stupid mistakes. So this guy goes D-Shifter, which honestly, our hand is not the worst against D-Shifter. Like, it's not great, because obviously you want cards, you need cards in the graveyard, but it's really not that bad. So Albert is going to search out Branded Fusion. Honestly, I think I was a little too greedy here, because I think I should just shotgun the Branded Fusion, because with Lubellion, I could just send back the whatever gets banished. I could actually, would Lubellion be able to activate? Does it have to send the graveyard or just discard? That's actually a good point. Let's check. No, I would be able to fusion summon and fuse them back into the deck. And I would have at least the Mirror Jade out. Well, this is what ends up happening. I use Fusion Deployment, I bring out Cartesia, and then I end the turn. And my thought process here was like, yeah, bro, I'm going to stomp him out. I got Guardian Chimera. I'm going to use Guardian Chimera using a Blazing Cartesia because it's a quick effect fusion. And my opponent's playing a trap deck. Go figure. Honestly, I don't have really much against back row decks. He sets 5. I'm like, yep, Guardian Chimera time, baby. Ooh-wee, this is going to be sick. And I'm an idiot. So Guardian Chimera can only activate if it's used with the spell. Honestly, the wording on the card, kind of annoying. If this card is fusion summoned by spell card, I read this as spell card or effect, like any effect. It just means spell card or spell effect. I'm an idiot, my own fault. But now you guys, people who might have not known, now they know, so they don't make the same mistake. So here comes my Sarniera. We're going to activate Branded Fusion. He's going to go for the Solemn Judgment, which actually lowers his life points into lethal range, which is pretty nice. But we know he has Compulse, so he's just going to Compulse Chimera away. So bye-bye, Chimera. Alright, so now it's my opponent's turn. He's actually going to end the turn off with double Metal Reflect Slime, which sounds psychotic, right? But, actually, you know how bizarre this is? Because he technically couldn't he have just activated this so he didn't take 2,500 damage? A little weird. So he's going to make 2 Egyptian God Slimes, which is really annoying. Because you can't target anything on the field besides them. So you might be saying, how the... There's no way, Big Meat Mike, there's no way you're going to win this, right? There's no shot that Big Meat Mike is going to come back from this. Well, all it takes is an Aliber. This is why he's limited to 2. Which is crazy because he's unlimited in TCG. Kind of tilting. Here comes Guardian Chimera again. If you failed once, do it the second time correctly. So we pop that. We're going to use Branded Fusion. We go into our Lubellion. We're breaking his board, baby. Fun fact of Mirror Jade. People on the Discord were arguing with me about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for science. And if it doesn't work out, whatever. I attacked my Mirror Jade into this. And it does activate Mirror Jade. Some people were arguing that because he's not attacking, maybe it wouldn't work. But it does work. So now we play Expulsion. Honestly, I said Expulsion for the dumbest reason is because I was like, well, they play something. Do try and do anything tricky, I can bring back my Fallen Valbaz and then use its effect to fuse off. Really stupid reasoning because he's playing a back row deck. Like, what is he going to do with that? I didn't have many good targets though. So Brandon lost. He's going to Solemn Judgment this, which the reason he Solemn Judgments this is because he wouldn't be able to Solemn the Fusion. Which is actually pretty funny. So now we play Branded Fusion. I take no chances. We go into Albion. Albion's going to bring out Mirror Jade. And then Mirror Jade is going to say, hokey pokey, goodbye. Stoop. Pretty good. I know what your people are asking. You're saying, Fatzoid, how come we're not seeing those crazy combos you're showing? Well, this match, you're going to see these crazy combos, baby. It's not going to be like super crazy because we don't have the Ecclesia card or whatever the card's called. Cyclasia, whatever the card that lets me fuse from the as a monster. So Oh, never mind. We have it. Forget my own replays sometimes. We go into Bestial Lubian. We're going to use Bestial Lubian's effect to special summon, put Branded Lost in the field. And then we're going to go into Grand Gugula, the Googly monster, and then we are going to be gaming. We have Sprite Kit, Spring Kit, activate Spring Kit. Honestly, this was a misplay. I shouldn't have even bothered playing Spring Kit. It was pointless. I should have just played Branded in red. Because I don't need to add Explosion to hand. I'll explain the combo. So, I activate Branded in red anyway, just to get Mirror Jade on the field. I mean, I was like, there's no point for me not to just go into Mirror Jade. But see, now I lose a DD Crow in my hand because of this. So, alright. So, the combo here, right? The combo. So, if you were to just go into Mirror Jade without using Springin, right? To grab the Expulsion, you can activate Mirror Jade's effect to send to Albion. And then you can negate it with Rhinebrum so you don't banish anything on the board. And you don't have to activate the secondary effect of returning a monster. You can legit just negate this card and that's it. And you would still get the Albion pitch. So that's what you should have done. But either way, we set the lock up. We have the beautiful lock. Activate the Expulsion. Target. He called by the Graves. So, yeah. Let's just safe to say we should just lose this one. Completely honest. Andy's playing fucking Endymion, which, whatever you guys say in the comments, Endymion is very good at OTKing. Ridiculously strong at OTKing. Especially when you open as powerful as he did. This guy went from Spell Power Mastery into Chicken Game, Servant of Endymion, like, Special Summon, Mythical Beast Jackal, and he had Cerberus. So I do this because otherwise Cerberus is just going to banish a card. I knew for a fact he would pop it. So now at the end of his turn he gets popped. And Alibur, I can negate the banish. But then Into the Voids. Our third Chicken Game. Upstart Goblin. Secret Village. Endymion. Yeah, I might just concede now or later. Because he's going to go into Endymion, pops my entire board. I can protect the fusion. The problem is now he has Electromite and there's no way I live. But then he just goes into battle, which I'm like 99% sure if this guy just played it out, right? He 100% could have OTK'd me. I know I'm at 9k life points, but like I just can't believe he could not OTK me. Because he could have like Electromite, pop a card, Electromite, right? So he could have popped this, boom, right? And then get Astrograph, summon Astrograph, go into Selene. Alright? No, not even do that. He could have just gone into Beyond the Pendulum, get 2 more cards, set up the Pendulum Scales, pen, Beyond the Pendulum, pops my card, and then maybe I die? I don't know. I think that's probably what normally should have happened. But it does not. He ends up doing it after the fact, which I thought was really bizarre because your cards are just going to die anyway to my Mirror Jade's beautiful ass. So he ends up doing the Selene play, okay. And then boom, they all go bye-bye. Which I would say right now, I'd be fucked if, because of Secret Village, if they didn't all go bye-bye. And he just concedes. Bye-bye, boy. Welcome to game number 4 or 5. I forget sometimes. I think this is 4 or 5. So we're going to Alibur. We're pretty much going to be setting up full combo here. But this is what I call ghetto full combo. So we go into just 2 cards and with Granular and Mirror Jade. And from here, I'm going to be able to activate this card's ability to send Albion to the graveyard. And this guy's a rat. He activates Magnet. You know, I didn't play around the card because, you know, he has 60 cards in his deck. I didn't think he would have the one of. But Gimmick Puppet gets banished, right? But the thing is, with the trap, he should have banished Albion way before then. But the thing is, it wouldn't have mattered because I would have been able to activate Mirror Jade's effect to banish either Mirror Jade itself or to banish this card. And then I would have been able to send Albion to the graveyard regardless. So no matter what, I was going to get Albion in the graveyard. Long story short. The one misplay I did do, though, is I should have set Super Poly because I should have known that Cartesia was going to come back to my hand. So he messed up on his Magma Hop. He should have done it on my Albion. But it is what it is, I guess. Boom, here you go. Have fun with the Gimmick Puppet lock. And even if he wanted to play, he can't. So, bye-bye. So he plays Naturia. He passes. Honestly, he could have attacked and killed Oliver. I'm not sure why he didn't. We set Retribution. It sounds psychotic setting Retribution, but I did it for one reason. This card, first of all, I can negate Chamelea's special effect, right? Which isn't the biggest thing in the world because Naturia Mole shit's going to come back regardless. But Branded Fusion allows me return to the extra deck 2 fusions in the graveyard. So I can return both my Albion so I can I can try to outgrind my opponent. Pretty much is my mindset, right? So I'm going to Fusion Deployment. I summon Fallen of Albaz to try and fuse some of his cards away. He activates Camellia. I negate it. Realistically, I probably should have saved this card. I should have saved it so when he summoned Night Mole Cricket, I could have just negated him using Mole Cricket. Ideally, I think that would have been a lot smarter. But I guess it is what it is. I'm an idiot. So I go into Rinbrum. He activates Mole Cricket. Boom, boom. This means I can't activate really any special effects anymore. I was gonna say, like, if I did the play correctly and I saved the trap, we had lethal. The reason why we would have lethal if I saved the trap for the Mole Cricket is because I would have been able to use Branded Fusion to go into Albion, use Albion to fuse Lebellion and another card. Actually, I don't have a Fallen of Albaz, so I guess I couldn't do that. I think I could have got lethal regardless. Somehow. I would have figured it out. But now I have to go into combat because I can't deal with Notorious Sunflower, so might as well just kill him. Kill them all! And deal 3k. Now you might be saying, there's no way you lose this. Like, you have it locked in the bag, right? Well, we learned that people can be very resilient. So he brings back Camellia. Camelia's going to send Sacred Tree. Yada yada. Naturia Blessing. The good thing about these decks is a lot of times they only run 1 Sunflower. And I think if you're playing like a 60 card deck, you probably should be playing at least 2. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But then he activates his Branded Fusion. He goes into Albion, which is hilarious. Rinbrand shuts down. If you're able to get Rinbrand up against the mirror, you just instantly win. Not instantly, because if they're Super Poly, obviously, but it's pretty close to winning. Because then you just Rinbrand, negate it. Right? And negate, and then it gets bounced. So even if you went to Lebellion, it's a very good counter, unless he had a chain block. Yeah, this is going to be rough for our opponent. Long story short here. So, this is the only thing that's really annoying, is this Reform of PAL 5 Rainbow. So, I can't attack. It's a complete floodgate. It's pretty much think of like Mystic Mine. It's almost like Mystic Mine if I don't have a set card. And he's running all these cards. Like his entire back row is literally cards that pop my cards. Which is really annoying. So I set 1 card. I lower everyone's attack. Normal summon. I go in for blood. And then he does turn Twin Twisters. So stops my attack again. I'm actually tilted. I'm fuming. I'm getting angry. I'm threatening this guy with legal action. And I just banish that. He just gives up. He couldn't outgrind me continuously sending Albion. So either way, I think setting the trap was correct. I think I activated the trap on the wrong step. Other than that, everything else was fine in my opinion. That was a good game. All right, here with the sixth and final game in our hand is looking a little sloppy Joe. Yeah, our hand's looking super rough. So we have like a lot of cards we don't really want in our hand, but we'll make a deal. All right, we're gonna go into Lebellion. Lebellion activates. Boom. Pop goes a Weasel. We already sent. We got value off of Tragedy, and we were able to send this. That's a double win in my book. And then we add another Aliber. We're gonna activate Mirror Jade. Just banish it. The reason why we're banishing it is because we get a free summon off of Expulsion anyway. No reason not to. And we get a free search for Brandon Red. I'm gonna activate Expulsion right now. Tribute my Mirror Jade. Here comes the summons. You're locked out. My opponent has no idea how Gimmick Puppet works. So if you guys don't know how this works, it works very similar to how Kali Yuga. You know how when Kali Yuga is summoned, it automatically locks everything out of the field? Like you can't do anything. You can't negate it. You can't respond to it. It's exactly how Gimmick Puppet works. And it also persists the entire turn no matter if you get rid of it or not. So it's pretty hilarious. He activates Droplet. And he gets rid of it. It does not get rid of anything. And our opponent is playing Numeron. And nothing makes me smile more than having a Numeron player locked out of special summoning. Branded Fusion. Guess what? We're going in for the Guardian Chimera. Here comes 3 heads are better than 1. Pop that pussy, dude. That was a little vulgar. I'm sorry. And he just gives up. Bye-bye. Let's get to the recap. You little nerds. Hello, welcome to the recap, and thank you for watching this far. If you guys enjoy this type of content, subscribe, because I post content very regularly, multiple times a week, usually 3 times a week, but we're looking to try and increase it more. So join. We also have tournaments happening every Friday, which we have a tournament coming up this Friday, so those are pretty fun, and everyone in the community usually likes them. So let's talk about the deck. The deck is pretty nutty. I'm going to say that right now. I think, I will say this. The deck, a lot of the cards do get hit by, when people are still going to be running Shifter and all that shit, it gets hit pretty hard by that. But I will say this. The deck has a lot of versatility now. And I think the game plan is very interesting now. Compared to like the super boring linear, I go into Mirror Jade, and then I banish my Aliber to send Albion, and then I set Brandon in red, and then I Brandon a red with my Ad Libitum to go into Guardian Chimera. I pop, and then I get my Mirror Jade back. It's just super boring, right? It is a little more interesting. I will say the Expulsion, I don't know if this is a so Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, this is used in the TCG. It wins tournaments. It's been doing very well in tournaments, right? The problem is if everyone's going to be playing Bestials, right? They have an easy way of just getting rid of this, right? Once I activate Branding Expulsion, they can just Bestial, banish the Gimmick Puppet, and then boom, the combo doesn't happen. So it is a little annoying. Also, Called by the Grave is still a card. It gets hit. DD Crow is still a card. They can still do that. So there is definitely... But remember, it's all about timing. If they time it right, they can stop it. If they don't time it right, then yeah, ideally, if you're playing with Branded Expulsion, you probably want to get at least your Gimmick Puppet and your Aliber banished or something. And then when you brand the Expulsion, you get both of these cards back and they can't interact with it because they're both banished already. That'd probably be the ideal scenario. But other than that, I think the deck was really solid. I wasn't originally running Ash Blossoms, but I think they're very good in this deck. And plus, you're starting to see a lot more branded fusions. And the more branded use, if branded fusion does not resolve, you're most likely just fucked. So if you're able to stop someone else's branded fusion, it's gonna help pretty great. Standout cards, Garura. This card's crazy. Card's insane with Super Poly. Other standout cards from the new set is the Rhinebrim was really, really strong. And this new card's very, very powerful. Like, these cards are very good. And I really do think Braided Despia, I don't know about it becoming tier 0, tier 1, but it's definitely going to be a top tier deck. And it's going to be not a bottom top tier. It's going to be like maybe like if Tier Limits is still the best deck in the game, which it might be, it's going to be right underneath. And I think the same case is probably going to be said with the other very strong Bysteel deck, which is going to probably be Dragon Link. Dragon Link seems really crazy. I played against it a few times on ladder, and it just seems like they have so much recursion. They can outgrind a lot of decks, which that deck did not have before. So it's looking pretty strong. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. On a power scaling of 1 to 10, I'm probably going to give this like an 8.5 to a 9 with a high skill cap. This is a very high skill cap. On a tier scale, I'm going to give this a tier 2. Mainly because I still think Tier Limit is probably the best deck in the format at tier like 1 or tier 0.5. I think it's probably tier 1. But this might be competing with it. I don't know. With the Dragon Link. I think those are probably going to be like the standout decks out of this. But who knows? Maybe Sprite too, because Sprite just got Sprint, which is pretty nuts. So, alright. Goodbye, guys.